What's up, Coach? How you doing?
What's up, man? How are you? Thanks for having me, and excited to be on.
I'm super excited to have you. Thank you so much for taking your very, very valuable time to jump on my show. It's an extreme honor and just super special to have you. So thank you.
No, of course.
So, Coach, tell me, how does it feel to be a champion? Just what's it like? What have you been up to since winning, and like, what's the feeling?
I mean, I would say the three things that kind of came, to my heart and mind once we won were gratitude, just being grateful. Obviously, it's something that is, you set out. It's a dream, it's a goal, and so just grateful to God, grateful to the people that we got to do it with. Just felt a great connection to our organization. I think it was very important that everybody in the organization knew that they played a part in us winning, and everybody's got to be on the same page, heading in the right direction, and then motivating. You don't have a lot of time to dwell in it. The draft's the next week, free agency's the next week. Teams are getting better, so you got to find that balance of taking it all in, but at the same time, you got to get better. You got to be ready to move on, and so yeah, I would say those three things is definitely kind of what I've been focusing on the most.
And then hit it with a repeat.
What'd you say?
And then hit it with a repeat. Come back next year, do it
Yeah, I
again.
mean, no, listen, like that's the test is can we maintain the level of mindset, the competitiveness, the toughness? Can we do all the little things? It's just a constant test, and it'll be a great test because our environment is changing, players are getting better, teams are getting better, and so we just got to continue to keep our head down and just get better every day.
Continue to focus. Exactly. I wanted to ask you though about this past championship, this past year. You rolled through every single team in your path. You were so dominant. Like nobody, like obviously the games were close, but in terms of win wise, like no one was close. You guys won every series, 5 games of less. Like, how great of a feeling was that, and how did it impact the vibe in the locker room, knowing that you guys this good?
I mean, it wasn't a great feeling, so to speak. I mean, the feeling in the locker room was just like we have a job to do, and I thought the guys did a great job just kind of staying focused on the task at hand, staying focused on the details. I think a test of the playoffs is being able to handle winning. Because when you win a game, the other team gets a little more locked in, they get a little bit more desperate, they want to win, and you have a tendency to relax. So I just thought our guys did a great job staying present, focusing on the task at hand, focusing on like the most important things that go into winning.
So speaking of the guys in the locker room, like were there any specific type of players that stepped up as leaders when they were needed the most?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key to our team, I think everybody has a leadership role, and it looks different. But I thought everybody took on a role in leading the team in some capacity, and whether it was defense, rebounding, toughness, communication, it's everybody's job to lead, and I thought our guys took ownership of that.
How was it like coaching at such a young age, trying to get everyone involved? Is that something different or
I mean, that's always a test, I think, in the NBA. But I think the really relied on the kind of the character of our guys. Our guys they're great guys. They really want to win. They want to do it together. And so when you have a group of guys that are on the same page as far as what goes into winning, and nothing's more important than winning, it kind of makes the job easier for a staff to kind of just facilitate that. So I think it starts with them and just the mindset and the approach that they bring.
right? Yeah, the guys are unbelievable.
Yeah, they
Anyway,
are.
I wanted to ask you about one of the guys specifically, Finals MVP Jaylen Brown. I've been saying how incredible he's been for a while now, ever since before he was a star even. And I'm so happy for him to be able to take his game to the next level this year, obviously, becoming Finals MVP. Just what did he do in this offseason and throughout the year to work on it to get to this next level?
Yeah, Jalen is obviously one of the best players in the league, and it was awesome to see his growth, in the Eastern Conference Finals, in the finals, but really throughout the season in general. And I think he's the epitome of like a growth mindset and hard work and being motivated. He isn't afraid to find the things that he knows he needs to get better at and work on them. He is extremely, extremely motivated, very process oriented, very detail oriented, always goes through his steps. And I thought just his commitment to wanting to the details every single day from the beginning of the year really paid off. So his work ethic and his mindset, there's not many guys like him.
100%. A year and a half ago, I think it was, I had Coach Kerr on my show. And I asked him about Brown and Tatum. and he told me something really interesting that I don't know if I 100% believe in anymore. He told me that he thinks Tatum's more of an ISO type player and that Jaylen is more like a slasher. But maybe that was right a year and a half ago. I think Jalen's changed his game that he's also a slasher. He's also one of the most athletic guys in the league, but he's that guy that can play one-on-one and beat you easily. Am I wrong that he's transitioned into that?
I mean, yeah, I mean, they're both tremendous players. It looks different every night. I think where those two guys really have grown is not putting themselves in a box. I think to be a great player in the NBA, you got to win games in different ways. You have to score in different ways. You have to impact the game in different ways. And so I think most players early in their career, regardless of who they are, look to impact the game one way. And as you grow, you find that you can do it in different ways. And so I think that's where they both of those guys have really have grown is they have the ability to read defenses, they have the ability to impact the game in other ways, whether it's defense, rebounding, and just through their leadership. So I thought the growth of those two guys was kind of, obviously a huge key to us this year.
Yeah, one last thing about Jalen is that in his rookie year, I went when the Raptors played Boston, and my friend has a dad. My dad has a friend who has season tickets next to the visiting bench in Toronto. So he gave us those tickets for that game. I went. I was like 7 years old. It was amazing. We sit down, and the whole game I'm asking Jalen for like his warm up T-shirt. Whole game he keeps telling me he can't. Anyway, I was wearing a Warrior shirt for whatever reason and the Celtics were down by 40. And there was like a minute left in the game. And I look at him I'm like, please, Jalen, can I have your warm-up shirt? And he goes, I can, it's my only one. So I start like showing him my Warrior shirt. I'm like, here, we could trade. You could wear a real basketball team shirt. And that's when like Terry Rozier used to be on the team. They all went like, ooh. It was hilarious. And after the game, he walked over to me and gave me his shoes, his game
So
used shoes. It was something really unbelievable and just showed his type of character and amazing type of guy.
that's exactly who he is.
Unbelievable. So the road to getting over the hump this year started in the offseason, obviously. When the Bucks traded away Jrue Holiday, who was on my show, by the way, also an amazing guy, to Portland in return for Dame. And, I didn't really like this trade to begin with for Milwaukee, as I feel Jrue is that type of guy who wins you championships. He's the missing piece. He is unbelievable. He's a winner, can hit big shots, plays lockdown D, just has that amazing basketball IQ. And then to make it worse, you guys go out and get him. So for Milwaukee, this isn't looking very good. Like, how outstanding is Drew? How much did he contribute to this championship run? And how lucky are you to have him?
Yeah, like you said, he's obviously more before anything else, he's a great person, just a high character guy, and I agree with you. I think the thing about Drew is like success looks different for him each and every night, and he doesn't really care about anything except winning and competing to win. So if the game calls for scoring, he's going to do it. If the game calls for high level defense, he's going to do it. He's just a great teammate and a great competitor, and so I thought the competitive nature that he brought into the building from day one kind of, was, gave us something different for the season.
You know, Everyone actually talks about how incredible Jimmy Butler is defensively. And I actually asked this to Drew himself. He's Jimmy's consistently regarded as one of the best lockdown defenders in the league. Let me ask you this, coach. How many times has Jimmy Butler made the NBA defensive first team? Just take a guess. How many?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Zero. That is crazy. And Drew,
That is because he is a really good defender.
amazing. And
Yeah.
Drew's made the NBA defensive first team 3 times. That just shows how incredible of a defender Drew is.
Oh, yeah. And it was cool having him come into kind of our system where, in Milwaukee, he was a kind of a lockdown defender. He had to focus on one guy, and it was cool watching him just kind of be open-minded towards our defensive principles where it's a little bit more switching, a lot more reads. And I think he really kind of had fun in that. So, but it was good to, as we got into the playoffs, we kind of relied on, his playoff defense, which was honing in on a particular matchup, just making life miserable for the other team. And so it was really fun watching really kind of the growth of his defense, but then also like in the playoffs, what he's really capable of doing.
I love Drew. His personality, the person he is, and just his game, of course. Anyway, another move you guys made was trading for Kristaps Porzingis. Now, when you guys made this trade, I didn't understand it. I couldn't get over it. You traded away, you guys lost some character guys in the offseason. You lost Marcus Smart, who really just puts his heart and soul into a team. You lost Grant Williams, who's an amazing role player, great shooter. Robert Williams, who's a great big, can jump out of the gym, extremely athletic. And I was skeptical about Kristaps just based off how much he gets injured. But obviously he's been great, and what he's at when he plays, he adds so much. Brad Stevens knew what he was doing. Just how great is a fit for Kristaps to this team?
Yeah, I mean, he brought us a different dynamic, his ability to stretch the floor on the offensive end and his ability to score in isolation and in the post. And then defensively, his ability to protect the rim. But he's also, I think, he's a more versatile defender than I think people realize. And so we were able to do some different stuff with him. And I thought he just gave us a different dynamic with his talent and his skill. And he's really, really competitive. And it was great to see in game 5 of the finals that even though he wasn't 100%, he still gave us, everything he had, and I thought that helped us win.
Was it hard to see these other guys go because they were so connected to Boston? And also, did you have any of these type of thoughts of, are we really losing these guys?
It was definitely hard. I mean, when I had gotten in the league, those were the three guys. Those were three of the guys that I had been with from day one, and so, and there was a core to our team that had been the same team for a long time. So, it was definitely difficult to watch those guys go, but at the same time, that's just kind of the business. That's just kind of the league that we're in, and I think you focus more, on the friendships and the relationships outside of basketball that can kind of get you through those times.
Yeah, and you also mentioned about Kristaps, his ability to stretch the floor. How important is it for nowadays to have shooting bigs? See it around the league. Almost every successful team has shooting bigs, like Miles Turner for Indiana, Joel Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jokic. List goes on. How important is it?
I think it's very important because it stretches the defense. It forces teams to match up differently. It can manipulate the spacing, and you can kind of do some different things on the offensive end. So I think it's a very important thing, and we have a few of those guys, both KP and Al, and who do a great job of that.
So, last question, coach. I want to ask you about the US Olympic team. You got a couple guys from the Celtics over there on the US Olympic team. And now that Tatum was there, obviously, Derek White just took over, Kawhi. But I want to talk to you about Tatum for a second. Do you think he should be starting? Like if you were coaching this team, would you start Jason Tatum? I think you have to.
I honestly haven't paid one attention to the USA team. I'm still learning who's on the team. Not really something I'm concerned about in the offseason, but I coach Tatum, and if I was coaching him, I would make sure he starts, regardless of what team he's on. I
He's
couldn't
one
tell
of those
you. I
guys.
couldn't. I couldn't tell you what is going on. I couldn't tell you who. I have no idea.
But he's one of those guys that could just fit with any team, any type of
No,
system. He
that.
could fit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was also that was a key. You talk about the growth of different players on our team throughout the year, like his growth to become just kind of a Swiss Army knife, where I don't even think people realized how good and how much better he got this season. Just finding different ways to be successful. He can play with any lineup. He can play under any spacing. He can play out a bunch of different actions. Just his catch and shoot, his off the dribble, his drive. So his growth as a player was, both him and Jaylen, their growth in different ways, I think were reasons why we were able to just kind of unlock a little bit. And you're right, he has the ability to just kind of play with anybody, play on any team.
Yeah, very, very flexible. Anyway, coach, thank you so much for joining me today on Jake's Takes. Did you enjoy our time together? Because I know I did.
I did. I enjoyed your enthusiasm, and for a young guy, you got a lot of great experiences. You got a lot of good insight and knowledge into the game. So I appreciate you having me.